Hello there, folks, and welcome back to the Fresh-Faced Film Bro podcast. This is our 5th episode, continuing on the Edgar Wright train, I suppose. Today, we're doing Scott Pilgrim, and with us, we have a very special guest and a man who is kind of an expert in the Scott Pilgrim department.
Don't hype me up like this, bro. Don't hype me up.
Too late.
Friend of the pod, mutual friend via Jacob White.
You're welcome.
Mr. Heath.
That's me.
Let's go.
So yeah, thanks so much for
Expert
coming out.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with Scott Pilgrim. For some reason,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
Expert is an understatement. How many times have you watched it in this year alone?
This Letterboxd says 8. This is so far this year. Yeah.
This year?
It says 8, which you said it says 8, which
It
means
says
there
8,
may be more
which
you didn't
means
log.
I've probably fallen asleep with it on, and just didn't
That's
count.
true.
So we're
Wow.
10, 11, I don't know. I was like 15. I first watched it, and I started floating. I don't know what it was. I just
Dang.
never been the same since.
Yeah. Mace, wait, no. I viewed it for the first time last night. Mason, you'd seen it before, and then Jacob, same.
I watched it for the first time this year, but
Yeah,
I've
same.
seen it 3 times since then. So I've watched it 4
Okay.
times.
Yeah.
I loved it right off the bat, but it's grown on me immensely.
Mm-hmm.
He's heard me talk about it for the past 6 months nonstop. So
It's one of the most rewatchable movies ever.
I feel like as we've been, I mean, we watched Hot Fuzz. I think was our last one.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that, but I feel like with each subsequent Edgar Wright film, I'm liking
Just
more.
keeps
I don't know if you
getting
can
better.
top that, but like this, it clicked with me. I loved like the first hour and 30 minutes of this movie so much, and then we'll talk about the final third of the movie like later. But yeah, it worked. Like it clicked with me. It was great.
For those who have not seen the Scotty, who wants to give us the rundown? Heath, since
I-
you're the expert, do you want to
Yeah,
give us the
let's let him
rundown?
do the
rundown. I can
Quick,
give the
quick little premise.
So, Scott Pilgrim, played by Michael Cera, is a 22-year-old white boy in Toronto, Canada. He is moping around, pretty depressed for the last year, no job. He broke up with his girlfriend of many years, and now he's dating a high schooler. She's 17, and he's 22. It was 2010.
That is legal in
But,
Canada.
yeah, before we start recording, we did.
Don't defend him like this, bro.
We're not Scott Pilgrim apologizers. Yeah, but we're just
That's
Edgar
what
Wright
happened.
was not out of line within Canadian federal laws, so technically it is.
Goodness gracious.
But I'm not an apologist, I promise.
While Scott's dating his 17-year-old high school girlfriend, Knife Chow, he meets Ramona Flowers, dyed hair, actually his age, e-girl of her time, and
Yeah.
and he's got to be with her no matter what. He wants to date her. That's his goal in life. Ramona
Yeah.
Flowers, all he cares about. Doesn't matter if he's cheating on his high school girlfriend or not. He wants her, and then finds out he has to fight her 7 evil exes, not ex-boyfriends.
Not
exes.
ex-boyfriends, yeah.
Just exes. And that's the plot. They go, many shenanigans ensue whilst fighting ex-boyfriends and girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
A
perfect.
has-been.
It has been great.
Maybe my favorite line of the movie.
I mean, I think I'm a little bi-furious.
Yes.
Bi-furious.
Yeah.
Like,
Nah,
come on.
yeah. That's
So good.
So many great one-liners.
By Furious is good. I like that.
But yeah, I was super impressed. Obviously, the comedy's at the forefront of this, but it's Scott has an arc. It's definite. I mean, he's not. Okay, Mason and I have talked about this. Mason doesn't. He's like, man, Scott's a bad person. Scott sucks. And, like, yeah,
Okay.
Scott sucks, but also he grows, and
Yeah. I wouldn't say he's a good person
No,
by the end
he's
of the
not,
movie,
yeah.
but he's
Does
better.
yeah?
He's
Does
just-
does he grow enough?
I think
That's the question.
I think the thing that we disagree on is that like the issues that you have with Scott's like character
Mm-hmm.
as a human impede your ability to appreciate the movie. I think.
I mean, I like the movie.
Okay,
You know
okay,
what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm not that hard on it, but I feel, I mean, it holds it back for me a little bit, but it doesn't ruin the movie.
It
feel
honestly adds to it.
It adds to it immensely.
But, I mean-
the main chunk of comedy for me comes from how like whiny and stupid he is.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
feel like
it's not-
the movie knows that.
Yeah, it's not the stupidity. It's more of like just like knives being pushed aside, and then it's just like we're okay with that.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
you know what I
Scott,
mean?
like,
Like-
everyone in this movie just hates on Scott for the entire first half for everything
Yeah,
he's
no,
doing,
there's-
and he
Yeah.
just doesn't care. He ignores them, and
Yeah.
it is he- pretty
I mean,
inspiring.
even Wallace is like you're too good for him. Run.
Yeah, we get to
Hey.
see Kieran Culkin as himself in this one.
Yeah.
Precursor to his
Roman
stint
Roy.
as Roman Roy on the greatest corporate drama of all
Wallace
time.
walked so Roman could run.
Yeah,
He really did. Really
That's
did.
true.
I'd say Wallace was already running.
Wallace
Wallace
was
ran so
sprinting.
Roman could run faster.
Roman could sprint. There we go.
Run a marathon.
This movie has the best cast of all time.
It's up
That
there.
could be
Of
the
all time.
tagline. That's
Of
it.
all
Like,
time.
Of all time. Yeah, just all time, for sure.
I don't know if-
That's a little
Okay.
blasphemous.
I would say that
yeah.
much,
Of course,
but
it's very hyperbolic. But
Yeah,
out of all of Edgar Wright's movies now, if you listen to the last episode, you know I'm a little crazy about The Fuzz.
yeah.
Really?
I love Hot Fuzz. Yeah. For what Scott Pilgrim is to Heath, Hot Fuzz is to me. And Hot Fuzz is still the king for me in terms of just comedies.
Mhm.
But in terms of casting, this movie knocked it out of the park. And that's why it's so rewatchable, is that every character is amazing. Even the characters who don't make as big of an appearance, like Kim and like Scott's sister, they're all just so funny and
The writing's great.
quirky and
Yeah,
like likable.
Uh-huh.
Like they're all
And
so
every
amazing.
actress does an amazing job.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say it's a
They're-
combination of like good writing and
They gel-
fantastic.
They gel
performances,
well.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Chris Evans is in the movie. For those that don't know, he plays one of the exes, and he delivers. I feel like Heath. Would you
His
agree? This
greatest
is like our
performance to
personal
date.
favorite scene
Yeah.
in the whole movie is Chris Evans, the fight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
It-
got to be
it's
the
my
best.
favorite fight.
Yeah, it's
that's
the
definitely
best fight in the movie.
Yeah.
I think.
Maybe vegan.
No. Okay, it's
Todd the
it's the
Vegan.
best fight in the movie.
Yeah, it's the best
Okay,
fight.
yeah,
But
yeah,
like
yeah. But yeah.
Chris Evans is over the top. It's almost like Hot Fuzz in a way. He's very over the top. He's parodying like action movies. Like his character is.
Skater Bros.
Yeah, like Skater
Yeah.
Bros and
From
stuff.
2003.
And he's
It's the
just-
perfect casting because that is like Chris Evans.
And I was
That's
gonna
his
say,
DNA.
well, Jacob and I were. I think it was Jacob that mentioned it last night about Chris Evans' personal experience on set. Was that? Or was
Yeah,
that Mason?
and
Yeah.
in an interview recently, he said Scott Pilgrim was the highlight of his career, and he like highly treasured his time, like being on the movie, and like how much he loves everyone because he's also reprising his role for the series, which is dropping on Netflix soon, and he was just talking about how much he loved the experience, and it's like the best thing he's ever done. I just thought that was cute.
Yeah, and the
That's
man's
nice.
like recently married. He like went on a record saying that he tries to do like one project a year to like. He's tried to reel it back after Marvel
Yeah.
because I mean anybody would be burnt out, but the fact that he's reprising his role in Scott Pilgrim, like the animated series, like speaks volumes to
It really shows you.
The
Scott
culture.
Pilgrim is number one.
Yeah.
It reminded him
Marriage is
of
number
life.
two.
It reminded him of life before Marvel.
yeah.
It was like the last thing that happened before he got swept in.
That's true.
It
Yeah.
was like his last glimpse of freedom. So maybe that's why he loves it so much. I
Wait,
don't
when
know.
was the first soldier? That was around that time.
Yeah, it
wasn't
was around the time.
Yeah. So
yeah,
you're
I
right.
mean,
Yeah.
he might have been okay after that
I think it
one.
was
yeah, it was the next year. So
Oh yeah, it was 11. Yeah.
No, he might not have had to been ducking crowds and stuff after the first Captain America.
yeah, but the casting and just, you got Lucas Lee, you got Todd the Vegan. Those two alone.
Yeah. No, the 1-2 combo of that is
It's just back to
unmatched.
back
It's unmatched.
peak villainy right
yeah.
there.
It's peak villainy, but like the jokes that we get in the like 15-minute span.
Just bang, bang,
yeah, it-
bang, bang, bang.
I can't
Yeah.
think of.
It works so
Another
well
movie
because
that-
it was like the first comic book movie that knew it was a comic book movie.
Yeah.
So everything was
Uh-huh.
trying to be gritty and realistic, or like have another angle on the comic book story. Scott Pilgrim embraced its comic origin, and
Yeah.
like it keeps like the cartoon video game logic of the comic, and I feel stupid for not even realizing this until last night. But the aspect ratio in the movie like keeps constantly changing,
Mhm.
and that's like an obvious like reference to like
the
comic
comic.
book panels.
Panels,
and how
yeah.
that changes like during like dramatic moments and stuff.
Yeah, as it's been said, I'm sure a billion times before, it's like literally comic book brought to life.
Yeah, and they like have like the words like floating around, and there's like the constant like character descriptions are like popping up here and there, and there's just so many little details in it. And I feel like the editing is actually a massive step up from Hot Fuzz.
Oh, yeah.
Hot Fuzz is super jerky and
Which isn't bad.
and it fits that movie well. But the editing in Scott Fuzz is super
Scott
smooth.
Fuzz.
It's Scott Fuzz. The editing in Scott Pilgrim is so smooth and colorful,
Yeah.
but not jerky at all.
No.
It's not jolty.
It still feels like a fever dream, but you don't feel like you're getting rocked
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is still fast. I mean,
Many
it's,
of the-
it's Edgar Wright though.
There's a lot of great transitions in all of his other movies, but there are so many transitions in Scott Fuzz that will have me jumping
So
off the
good.
couch in
Yeah.
hype. The first two that come to mind is when he's like sort of like going through the motions because he like tries to break up with Knives and
Yeah.
he's not, so the like transitions to like Steven Still's yelling at him to like him being at band practice, and it transitions to the sidewalk and then like to the party.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
transition
yeah.
is fantastic.
That's in like 30 seconds.
And then
Yeah.
the transition from him being in the phone booth to the cafe, like he steps out of the phone booth,
Yeah.
and like he's already in the door
So
of the cafe. It
clean.
was so
Yeah.
clean, so
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's crazy.
Yeah. I will say that going into Scott Pilgrim, I was like vaguely familiar of its comic book background, but the first X that he had to face, like when
When he comes
started,
bursting through the ceiling.
yeah, like literal, I don't know, Avengers level combat started ensuing in like a movie that I thought was about like people trying to get a record deal.
It takes you out.
Oh yeah,
it
it's
took me
like-
out, but I was like, okay, like this
Anyone
is
I've
what it
showed
is.
Scott Pilgrim to, they've made like a guttural reaction to Matthew Patel's entrance.
That is the best part of showing
Yeah.
people this movie.
yeah, it's
just-
their reaction to that because they all go, "Oh,"
You don't tell
It's
anybody.
0 to
Yeah.
100. It is
No,
like
I was so
because
confused,
it's
but
quite grounded up until that
it
point.
works. And like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you're like, oh, Scott Pilgrim just launched a man into the air, punched him like 100 times, and everyone's just cool with that. That's the thing that happens. All right, yeah.
I was expecting it to be like a, I don't know, daydreaming sequence or something, or to,
Oh,
to
no.
pull it back in, and we find out that he doesn't know how to fight, but no, he's like,
No, he kills him.
yeah,
Yeah.
he
kills many
yeah.
He
people.
kills all the X's. All the X's.
Some,
got
yeah,
spoiler
somehow
alert.
he can just win.
Yeah, they don't never explain it. In
No,
the comics,
never
In
explain,
the comics,
yeah.
there's like one line. It's like, wow, he must have not known that Scott's the greatest fighter in Canada or something. Like, and that's it.
You're the only one who's read most of the comic, right?
I've read the first 2 volumes, I think.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
I'm catching up. You know, they're
Where-
expensive.
Where'd you get like in the comic?
Uh,
What was that translation like from comic to movie? What'd you notice?
I reread the
Yeah.
entire first one last night, so that's on my mind. What?
Wow.
It's not that long. It's like 160 pages.
But what
sure
you,
Is it
what
like
did you
a
notice?
is it like a 1-to-1
The first
kind of?
the first volume it honestly feels like you're just watching the movie with like a few added
Yeah.
scenes in there. It's not that different actually. They do a really good job of capturing the entire like first
That's
before
cool.
the first fight and all that. It's amazing what they did with the movie, honestly.
Do you think that the movie honors the art style of the comic?
I feel like as much as you can in live action, yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
It like I have no complaints on it.
Okay,
I don't
yeah.
like give him bigger eyes or something. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I've seen a side by side. They actually like recreate like several shots from
Yeah,
the comics.
that's
Like, they use
really
like the
neat.
exact same camera angles from some of the panels, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, another reason I can't wait for the anime.
Yeah.
When's that
there's-
dropping?
November
8th?
something.
Oh,
yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
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 Oh, okay.
It's in like
For
a
those
few
that
weeks.
don't know, Scott Pilgrim is being adapted into an anime on Netflix, and it's like a 1-to-1 recreation of the comic. Like the art style
looks
is
beautiful.
spot on, and everyone from the movie is reprising their role.
So, is this a show or is this a movie?
That's a show.
Show.
Is it gonna be like start and end at this approximately the same like boundaries of the movie? Is it like within the confines of that story, or does it extend beyond the?
The
It
creator of the
just be-
comic said something like it's gonna be 1-to-1, but like expect some new surprises or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, because the movie's like everything.
Yeah.
So there's not much else to go off of. So it's pretty much just gonna be the movie.
Gotcha.
that's,
Okay, I wasn't sure if there
more
was-
fleshed out.
Yeah,
all
okay.
that.
Just like non-canonical stuff
Yeah.
starts
Yeah.
coming in.
I don't remember that.
But okay, I guess we can get into. Do you want to just go through each X?
Sure.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
I don't know if you want to
Yeah,
tackle
no,
it
that's a
another
good
way. We
way
can
to,
do
that's
each
a
X.
good way
We
to
can
go
do
about it
about it.
because
Yeah.
then that gets to because we have a sort of gripe with the last third of the
Okay.
movie that it directly
Yeah.
deals with how they handle the last couple X's. So
Yeah.
we can go one to one.
Do we want to say anything about the introduction before we get to the X's, or do you just want to jump right in?
The
feel like we,
introduction is hilarious. I love the opening credits for one.
Yeah.
There's a little, I don't know if, since you guys have only seen the movie once or twice, the opening credits have so many little details. So like when the actor's name flashes on, whatever's going on in the background, like correlates to their character. So like
Okay.
Michael Cera shows like the bass guitar, and like the girl who plays Ramona, it's like the colors keep changing because she dies
hair.
every week. And then Kieran Culkin, he's like, it's like a battery draining because one, he's really tired, and but he's also leeching off of other dudes.
That's so
'Cause
funny.
he's always trying to, he's always getting these dudes like
Mm-hmm.
always getting a boyfriend, so he's just constantly leeching off other people. And then like Chris Evans, he got a skateboard in the background, and even like people who are in the crew, like there's like stuff in the background that.
And
Shows
also
well.
every name that it shows, like when Chris Evans, since he played one of the X's, it flashes like a 2 behind his name because he was the
he's
second X.
second, yeah.
And I
Okay.
think believe it does that for everybody.
Nice.
That's the
That's
one that I
cool.
noticed.
That's cool.
That's neat.
I feel like we didn't talk about Wallace Wells enough yet.
I was gonna say, yeah. Let's give Wallace some love.
Kieran
He's Scott's
Culkin
roommate.
absolutely kills
Yeah.
it. Yeah, Scott's roommate that they share a bed platonically, also with Scott's boyfriend. Sorry,
Yes.
with Wallace's boyfriends on occasion. They're just all three chilling in the bed. You know how
Yeah.
it is. And he's hilarious. He's just so
Yeah.
gay, so drunk all the time. Like, what more could you want?
And just like genuinely hates Scott sometimes.
Sometimes.
No, he
loves
loves
Scott.
He loves Scott, but
Oh.
it gives him a dosage of hard reality.
I love that he always calls his sister. And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the sister.
You know,
it's just like
I
I
always
aspire
on
to
it.
have a friendship like.
That's funny. Yeah.
I love
Wallace
when he calls her the second time, and she's like, "You're thinking of juggling 2 chicks at once? Not even. Where'd you even hear that from? Wallace? Duh. He's not even conscious."
Yeah, he's just
like
on the
literally
bed.
blackout drunk with his
the
cell phone
phone.
open. And he just said the text.
Right after one of my favorite scenes where Wallace comes in, guess who's drunk? I guess Wallace. You guess right, and then he just
And then he
throws
does the
keys
keys
directly at Scott's head for no reason. That had to hurt every time I see it.
Bro just
But
doesn't
I love
care.
it so much, and then plops right down.
He couldn't care less.
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim's just amazing.
And well, he also just steals Stacy, Scott's sister's boyfriend. At
I was
the
gonna
Rocket
say, yeah, if
during-
you were a woman,
during
you
the
better
show.
watch out for Wallace because he's gonna
He's gonna
steal
get your man. He's gonna
You're
get
not
your
allowed to have a
man.
man.
He ain't coming back.
They literally introduce him as her boyfriend, and then by the end of that, it's not
Yeah.
anymore.
He's in the bed like the rest of the movie.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the style and like the writing of this movie. This might be you might be able to lend it to the comic, but like the first line of the movie isn't it just like
Scott Pilgrim was dating a high schooler.
yeah like
Yeah.
It was like once upon a time in the mysterious land of Toronto, Canada. Scott Pilgrim was dating a high school.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
I feel like there's no better way to set the tone of like okay that
And then
that,
you get the reveal he's 22 immediately
exactly
after, yeah.
like
Yeah.
and the character descriptions like we mentioned like pretty much a comic text font
Just who
it's-
they are, age,
Yeah.
stats,
Yeah.
it's
gamer
pretty much
stuff.
everything is fair
Facts,
game in
yeah.
this movie and
It's-
it works. I mean I
it's-
could think of so many ways that it wouldn't like have been pulled off right, but
Yeah.
it works.
That
One
is a good
thing
point. That is a good point.
about the like names of characters popping up. I feel like you said Steven Stills earlier, and I'm honestly shocked that you remember his name. I feel like that's one like strong suit of this movie is that
You remember everyone.
like all these characters. There's like 20 characters that are all pretty important, and I feel like it's pretty easy to remember all their names because they're really unique, and you get the the pop ups showing up. And
But
it
it's
shows how
not-
strong the characters are.
It's not too much. Like
It's not.
they let it explode at a few points, like the style of it, but they kind of they keep it reeled back for most of it. I feel like, and I was actually doing some research, but Universal just kind of attached Edgar Wright to this movie. So Connor O'Malley, who's the original author of Scott Pilgrim, he had been like wanting to get a movie made like ever since the first volume came out because he's like, I need money and like I think they can make a movie. And Universal had Shaun of the Dead had like just come out and it was a massive success. So they had kind of knew that Edgar Wright would probably play well to the style of the comic, and they're just like, here you go. And he happened to be a fan of the comic. So it just the stars align beautifully for him to come
Yeah.
out because I feel like if you gave this movie to anybody else, it wouldn't have worked.
He's the perfect guy to do it. He really is. Like, yeah.
Because his humor is similar.
Yeah.
to the
In
comic.
other hands, it could have gone horribly wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, folks. Little break in the flow of things. So we had pretty much the episode recorded, but I checked Pro Tools and I had a CPU overload and due to some technical stuff about the audio. It was the buffer size. So if you're running Pro Tools, don't run 128 samples if you're recording. So yeah, take two. We are just gonna jump right into each of the X's. We'll go down the line and try to hit on our favorite points. So starting with Matthew Patel.
Matthew Patel.
This man comes bursting through the ceiling with his fist and finger point at Scott. He's like, Mr. Pilgrim. And it just completely, all sense of reality goes out the window because the movie had been pretty grounded up until that point. And so Ethan made like a guttural reaction to Matthew Patel's entrance, and I feel like that's one of my favorite things when showing people this movie is the reaction to Matthew Patel, because like the X's are coming, sort of like they allude to it, but you don't expect it to happen then. And for some people, that's when you get really into it, or for some people, it's maybe when you.
And you don't expect it to be just a video game style
No.
boss fight happen in the middle of this.
Yeah, the only
crazy.
heads up that you get is it's a scene at Wally's house, right? And
Yeah.
he's on Scott's on his computer, and he gets an email from Matthew Patel detailing like the
Yeah, he was like, hey, dear Mr. Pilgrim, we are going to fight. But Scott just completely ignores it and doesn't care. And so when it does happen, Wallace, knows about it. So he's like, hey, Scott, it's that guy. But,
yeah.
Scott doesn't.
And then
He was only on the computer to get a package from Ramona. So
even Matthew acknowledges that. He's like, you got my email, right?
I skimmed it. Mm-mm.
Oh yeah. And then Wallace is like,
Yeah.
you can't skim emails.
Wallace is personal coach.
By the way, yeah, while this is all happening, Wallace is making moves.
Rizzing.
Yeah.
Scott's sister Stacy's man, Jimmy.
Yeah.
And
She
after-
turns away and,
At the end of the fight, Ramona's like, well, this was fun. Tell your gay friends I said goodbye. Gay friends. And Wallace and Jimmy are just making out.
They're going hard.
Yeah, they're going hard. So, ladies, do not have your man around Wallace because he just has that innate capability of stealing your man. So,
And after Scott just kills Matthew Patel, gets his $3, him and Ramona hit the bus. And they're officially dating.
they are. We get back the Seinfeld bass intro.
I gotta
Cues us in.
I gotta give Kim some love in the movie. Every time she's like, "We are sex bomb." Like,
1, 2, 3, 4.
Dude, love her.
Her deadpan delivery is just so,
Yeah.
It's great.
So
Yeah.
excellent.
By the way, one of Scott's exes, and we'll talk about Scott's mysterious riz.
Unexplainable.
Inexplicable riz.
That's absolutely unexplainable.
But yeah, so yeah, Kim, member of the band, one of Scott's exes. Yeah, counts him off, and one of my personal favorite moments from the scene. But yeah, after Matthews dealt with. Okay, first off, when we recorded this initially, I made a comment about like how jarring it was that Scott Pilgrim just knows how to fight. It's like the scene in The Matrix where Keanu Reeves goes into like he uploads kung fu in his brain. He comes out and he's like, I know kung fu.
It's like ding, 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 ding.
It's just, I don't know. We're
it's
thrown into
never
it,
explained.
and we're just expected to accept that Scott Pilgrim is like Bruce Wayne, and he knows every form of martial
like a
arts.
sci-fi
All
movie.
of his friends are just cool with it.
Yeah.
They're like, that's Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does that.
He knows how to fight.
Yeah, he plays in a band, and he'll kill you.
Edgar Wright, who sort of knows everything about movies, I feel like there's special dedication and care into the choreography because I'm sure he knows a lot about kung fu movies. I'm sure, so he was very conscious and meticulous in how the fight scenes were dealt with, and it's the complete opposite of Hot Fuzz or Shaun of the Dead, where it's very jumpy, very cutty, and instead it's very fluid. Like
It's a little cheesy, but
so
like in
it's
a
a
good
little
way.
cheesy, but it's very fluid and
It's very fluid, and it's impressive.
yeah, a lot of like one takes and like there's quick edits, but at the same time it's very smooth fighting and it's just it's so good.
I think in Hot Fuzz, last time around I made a pass about the action sequences in Hot Fuzz, and I'll say because the movie wasn't centered around action in Hot Fuzz, they got away with having gunfights that weren't completely
choreographed.
Yeah, choreographed, I'd say.
Yeah, but I feel like in Hot Fuzz it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be,
Yeah,
because
it's
that's
not-
not
yeah,
what it's
it's
about.
not what it's
But
about. Yeah.
because the action sequences take such a forefront in Scott Pilgrim, I mean, you can't afford to
Oh,
skimp
yeah,
on that,
for sure,
and he
yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
action sequences in this film are incredible, and the way they're filmed are arguably even more impressive. Like the cinematography of it all, because I mean, the editing during it is also great, and there's some really cool integration with the comic panels while that happens. Like, not particularly in like the comic art style, but like in the way that the TV splits into panels
The
and you
split
see.
screen and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's neat.
Yep.
And the aspect ratio changing as well, as Jacob mentioned earlier.
Oh yeah.
Very cool. He starts dating Ramona officially, but Wallace issues one of his famous ultimatums where he has to break up with Knives, but Scott doesn't want to because it's hard. He eventually does, though, just out of nowhere after Knives proudly proclaims she's in love.
And invites him over for dinner, and he says, "What, Chinese food?"
Also, I
Yeah,
love,
he says he says something like,
Oh, and,
he's
yeah,
like,
and then
your
he
parents,
says,
"Do your parents even want you dating outside of your race?"
Oh my.
Just making up the worst excuses.
Wait,
'cause
is it
he's-
Scott Pilgrim versus the World?
Yeah.
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim versus interracial dating.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing, Kim just drops an R word in this movie as well, and just so a lot of things like that. Very 2010.
I don't remember that.
It's pretty early on.
It's,
okay.
It's a little easy to miss.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 2010.
Yeah, I
a
don't
lot of
know.
the stuff
Yeah.
that there's a few things in this movie that don't fly in 2023, but you're bound to get as well as the. I was gonna say we mentioned this. This film has aged beautifully.
It's better now than it ever was.
It's so much better. The wardrobe's terrible. Like I think that's the only thing. That,
The Sharpie shirt is fire.
the Sharpie shirt is fire.
I want that Sharpie shirt. Sharpie shirt, excuse me. I didn't even realize he was wearing that until last night. Like I
Yeah.
saw that and Mason was like, "Look at that Sharpie shirt." I was like,
it's
"Dude,
fire.
Yeah, it's
come
not even a
on."
real shirt. Sharpie just like
Fire.
paid them for him to wear that in the movie.
Really?
For
Yeah.
like 5 seconds.
That was like Sharpie. Sharpie just put that in as like their
Perfect product
advertising.
placement.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Coke Zero in
Like
this
we're
movie,
talking
too.
about it.
I also
No,
think
no.
it's
Fresh Face Film Bro, sponsored by Coke Zero.
please.
Yeah, please.
And Sharpie.
And Sharpie.
Please give us 5-star reviews so we can be
I
sponsored
have to
by
pay for
Coke.
college.
I gotta buy Sharpies.
Yeah.
Please, Sharpie, contact
Yeah,
us.
please, Coke, please sponsor us so I can buy Sharpies.
That doesn't sound good.
Yeah, all my money's gonna be gone, so I'll need Sharpie to sponsor
That
me so I
doesn't
can buy
sound
Coke.
good.
Yeah.
Where were we?
Lucas Lee, Chris
Lucas
Evans'
Lee.
character.
The GOAT.
Second
The
X.
GOAT, the man himself. The man who's a skater, an action actor man, legend, who they go to watch him on set. He happens to be filming a movie in Toronto.
Well, and
And
Wallace
he's,
gotta stalk him.
he's chilling and he's winning.
Yeah,
And then he
well,
walks
He's
out.
filming Captain America, actually.
yeah, it's filming Captain America, and they learn while they're watching him that Ramona, this is the second X, and he like points out Scott Pilgrim because he's in the league. He's like, "You don't know about the league." He's like, "You don't know about the league," and he has, not only is he just ripped and such a fantastic actor, he also has many stunt doubles who Scott
Many.
has,
Many
lost
stunt
stunt doubles that Scott has to fight.
And sometimes he lets him do the wide
And
shot.
sometimes they do the wide shots when I want to go blaze in my winnie. But we're all in agreement that this is possibly the funniest
Best
fight.
joke,
while
yeah.
Todd the Vegan might be the best fight.
Yeah, the 1-2 punch of what's Chris Evans' name? I'm sorry.
Lucas Lee.
Lucas Lee
Lucas
and
Lee.
Todd the vegan. It's incredible.
Overpowering.
Yeah, the comedy bits within the 15-minute period of those two X's, it's unmatched in
I mean,
pretty much any.
forget
movie
about
that-
Citizen
yeah.
Kane, bro. Like, that's cinema.
Forget about Apocalypse Now. Have you seen Todd the Vegan?
Yeah. Francis Ford Coppola retired after Lucas Lee hit that rail.
Actually-
Yeah.
Francis Ford Coppola has a new movie coming out, and I heard the only reason he
does.
made it was because he saw Todd the Vegan and realized he had some more work to do before he had one foot out the
I'm
door.
not done. I got one left.
He's
in
like,
me.
he's like, I got one.
That's a
one
good
left in
bit.
me. Same-
He
same
goes,
with-
hold up, I'm coming back.
Same with Marty. He thought about retiring, but when he saw
Yeah.
Todd the Vegan, he was like, "Hey, hold on."
He goes,
When he
Leo,
heard that
De
chicken
Niro,
wasn't
get him-
vegan, he's like, I'm coming back.
Vegan Academy spinoff.
Yeah,
It's like the Michael Jordan paper, the headline. I'm back.
yeah. But
I'm going to the
one.
Heat.
Bro, that's 2 episodes in a row that I made a Michael Jordan reference. That's crazy.
Let's keep it going.
Another one, Lucas Lee's one of my favorite parts is when he just first introduced hopping out of his trailer, very slow motion, Universal theme playing, and he cracks his neck at the beat, and it's the perfect way to introduce him.
Yeah.
Why are they playing the Universal theme? It makes no sense, but I absolutely love it. It's perfect. It couldn't have picked anything better.
They're playing the Universal theme because the movie is produced by.
Universal.
No way.
It's personal.
Bum, bum, bum.
I thought it was Paramount.
We just dated ourselves.
Huh?
Dated as in the date.
I got
As
you.
in, like, okay.
I wasn't confused.
Quite confused. There.
Lucas Lee fight, right? Are we still there?
Yeah.
He meets his demise when Scott dares him to grind down this massive staircase. He's like, the rails are garbage. But he's like, there are girls watching. So, of course, he has to do it. And he dies because he's going at over 300 kilometers per hour.
300
Double dog
kilometers.
bet.
And
The
just
stuff that guys do in this movie for, like, just the attention and admiration of women
Just
is,
because
is
they're there.
wild.
It's 'cause
It's
they're
wild.
they're just there, and he's got to go 300 kilometers an hour and explode.
mean,
I mean, in
Bro,
Scott,
that-
the
I mean,
whole
bro,
movie,
that's
like,
life.
What Scott's doing, it's literally for a girl. Like,
yeah,
That's life, man.
yeah.
But
Screw
then,
our biology.
that's how I got my first girlfriend. I went 300 kilometers an hour down a grind rail.
yeah,
On some rough rails.
They were garbage.
garbage. But after the Lucas Lee fight, Ramona disappears for a little while, and Knives comes back up and sort of questioning Scott. She comes to question Scott at the front door the next morning, in the famous scene where Scott jumps out of a window that's like 2 feet tall and 5 feet off the ground.
The window's closed.
The window's closed.
Yeah.
He breaks it.
Which means that he
jumps
has to
through.
break the glass.
Yeah, he jumps through.
Well,
Is
he also
Scott
jumps
here?
up like 7 feet.
You know what? He just left. It's one of the best physical comedy moments of the last.
And it's shot
Of all
perfectly
time.
where every time that Wallace moves, he shows exactly where Scott is and does not hide him in the slightest with every movement he makes. So
Yeah, it's
Knives
just
knows
so
exactly.
so apparent that Scott just broke the window, and he comes back to grab his jacket, which he forgot.
Yeah.
And then walks right behind Knives. She looks at him like it's obvious.
Yeah, and then Scott's ex, Amy Adams, reappears. She's
The
playing-
white woman jump scare in the coffee shop.
Brie Larson.
Well, no, we get hit by the. It's a
double
feature.
double white woman
Yeah.
jump scare of Ramona coming back in the coffee shop, and then we see Envy right behind her doing the exact pose that the poster behind her is. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
It's a really cool shot. Great
It is
shot.
really
Shot.
Also, I don't know if this was before the.
No, you just go.
Before-
They'll hear it twice.
Yeah,
they'll hear it
if
twice.
you hear it twice, whatever.
Deal
but
with it.
This movie's transitions. Oh my goodness, these movies transitions
Buttery.
have me jumping off the couch.
It doesn't get better.
I'm doing the worm like as I'm doing it. I'm like starting to mosh pit at some of these transitions because they are just so unbelievable.
Bro started hitting the
be
grid.
Motion to Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, I'm moshing to the transition.
Bro, he started hitting the grid.
They give me that hype. Specifically that scene. There's a transition.
Jacob started doing the shmoney dance.
Yeah, there's a transition where Scott's in the phone booth talking to his sister, and it transitions to him opening the door of the phone booth to him already like opening the door of the coffee shop, and I hit the gritty when I saw that.
Dude, you got it.
Right.
That's
I
a
was
gritty
just like,
moment.
It was so hyped, so I had to hit the gritty, and there's so many other great transitions, like the sort of in the first few minutes of the movie when he's like dazed and very out
Going
of
through
it,
the
out of
motions.
it right after he sees Ramona, and there's like a transition where Steven Still's face like comes in, and when he comes back out, they're in the apartment, and then it transitions to them walking down the street to the party, and then someone walks past them, and it transitions to them in the party.
And then Scott has to pee.
Yeah, and
Let's talk about the P bar.
The pee bar.
the infamous pee bar.
So much pee in Scott Pilgrim.
He goes to pee due to boredom.
He has a pee bar that empties as he pees.
That's how it works.
We all know this. We all know the pee
yeah, we
bar.
don't- yeah.
Yeah.
Phil's not well versed on the P bar. And there's another thing. Later in the movie, around this part where we're talking about right now, they go to the show, Envy Adams show, and they completely bomb the opening. And
I get it.
Knives now knows that Scott's dating Ramona, so to get back at Scott, she dyes her hair blue and gets together with our boy Young Neil.
Have we
Young
talked
Neil.
about like their breakup yet? Scott?
Yeah, we did.
Scott and Knives.
Only once or twice.
What do you mean?
Didn't we just talk about
I
it?
think we just did.
Okay.
Just like
I'm
second round.
Yeah, second round. Second round. We just talked
Yeah.
about it.
Amnesia.
She invited him over for Chinese food.
Yeah.
Bro, whoever edits this.
No, it's okay. We're gonna leave
No,
it
I'm
raw.
busy this week, not me.
I'm gonna lobby for whoever's editing this. Just leave it.
just leave it.
The folks are in.
Okay.
They're strapped in, and they're
You cut
they're
this
right with
part.
us.
Well, yeah, no, we know that.
We could leave it in.
No.
You're gonna
now
listen to
that
this.
we've said it.
Yeah. No, this is
not.
it. This is it.
No, I'm not
Okay.
leaving that in, dude.
Okay.
You're like, yeah, we already talked about it. Yeah, leave it in.
Yes, Jacob.
The sex bombs, they open for Envy Adams, just goes horribly wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Knives.
They bomb.
Starts dating young Neil.
They sex bomb.
They start dating young Neil, and when Ramona asks Scott to explain the predicament, he slips on his own words and combines two sentences he had in his brain and then creates, "I have to pee on her."
On the 17-year-old.
And then Steven Stills pees himself at the end of the movie. So
A lot of
Foreshadowing.
Scott.
a lot of pee. But
Lot of
anyway,
pee, Scott.
Todd the vegan.
Well, wait,
I was
coffee
gonna
shop
say
scene.
it's only a matter of time before Nashville opens a bar, like a spot called the P Bar.
Yeah.
I'm there day one. The coffee shop scene with Aubrey Plaza is amazing. She's great as Julie Powers. Definitely my favorite scene with her, where every word she says is just, you know, and
Oh, that wamp.
shout out Julie.
Yeah.
If
Aubrey
you
Plaza's
hate
great.
Scott and want to see him relentlessly bullied, you're gonna love Julie.
Yeah, I think that's why I like her so
As you
much.
should. Yeah.
But after the concert,
After Sex Bombs, we get Brie Larson singing "Black Sheep."
Yep.
My favorite song in the movie. She absolutely kills it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And we get revealed that Todd the vegan is who Envy cheated on Scott with, and Ramona also dated him, and it's just a weird 4-way thing going on. The
Yeah.
beef everywhere. Nobody likes each other.
Sideways double date.
I have to mention we haven't really talked about young Neil. He's just kind of there. That's basically his whole thing.
We love young Neil.
That's his,
Dude,
that's
it's
his
like
whole
you're talking
thing.
about a rapper.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
talking about Young Neil.
Yeah, young gravy.
Let me turn y'all onto this young Neil.
Yeah. But Young Neil has a great line after the concert. Knives is like, "Oh, that was so good." He goes, "Yeah, you should see him live. They're much better live." It's so
Thank you,
stupid.
young Neil.
It's great. But thank you, Young Neil.
That's like the same energy as the line that I love so much from Hot Fuzz about that's the bloke that we just arrested for speeding, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
But Todd the vegan.
Yeah, then we
They
get
go-
all
he's a
the Todd the
vegan for a
vegan
reason.
stuff. Yeah.
They go backstage. They start kind of chirping, a little chirpy.
Yeah.
Start yapping.
She's interrogating Ramona, but Knives is fanboying so hard that Todd just punches her in the face. He goes, "I'm not afraid of the girl. I'm a rock star."
And he punches the highlights out of her hair.
And
Literally.
Scott is so mad.
One of
that
the funniest moments of the movie.
Yeah.
Just easily.
He tries to go in for the punch right off the bat, but since Todd's a vegan, he's automatically better than everyone, and he has mystical powers that he acquired from the Vegan Academy and sends Scott flying into the stratosphere. And
Did this
the
movie
Vegan
come out
Academy, bro.
before or after Man of Steel?
before 2
Before.
years before Man of Steel.
Really?
3
Okay.
years.
Because I was gonna
Oh, yeah, 3 years.
compare
Think.
the fight scenes like to Man of Steel. They're like Man of Steel-esque. So
No,
like,
that's true.
Zack Snyder was like,
Bro, Man of
watching-
Steel
Zack
sucks.
Snyder was
He's
taking
like,
notes in the
I'm gonna do
theaters.
that.
Is that supposed to be a compliment to Scott Pilgrim? Because Man of Steel sucks.
It's the best movie ever made.
I want to see Zack Snyder's Scott Pilgrim.
But Todd the vegan fight, it's so funny.
It's so great. He's just vegan powers. He's a vegan, and you get he uses 100% of his brain. No curds and whey in there.
Yeah,
Yep.
no.
And then he tricks him.
Well, no, he starts levitating. So he hits
They
him
have a
through a
base
wall.
battle.
They have a base battle.
Base off.
And there's like really cool graphics where like you can see the sound waves. It's like the when the Harry Potter and Voldemort like lock the kind of like that.
But it's just base.
Yeah.
Wait,
It's
bro, how's it
it's
like
all
that?
sound waves.
Scott's getting mollywopped
like that.
by Todd the vegan, and the only way he knows how to do it, how to finish him off.
He
is
pulled the
gives
Princess
him-
Bride.
He gives him coffee. He gives him coffee of half and half instead of the soy milk, which
Yeah.
then prompts the vegan police to come crashing through the door and list off
His crimes.
Every
his crimes
yeah, he's
against
like, don't I get
veganity.
more than one strike?
veganity.
Crimes against veganity.
Crimes against veganity, and not only did this man drink half and half,
He ate gelato.
and chicken parmesan. He didn't know chicken wasn't vegan.
He goes, not the chicken parm.
So he gets hit with the de-veganizing ray, no longer a vegan, and Scott hits him with the iconic line of "You once were a vegan, now you will be gone."
Oh,
Headbutts him
straight spitting.
to death.
Straight spitting.
Bars.
And then afterwards, they go to the after party where they run into Roxy. Is that her name?
Yeah.
Roxy.
Ramona's first evil ex-girlfriend.
She said,
Not ex.
she said,
not
"I was
7
a little-
ex-boyfriends.
She
Not
said,
7
I was a
ex-boyfriends.
little bi-curious. And Roxy says, well, I'm a little bi-furious. So
Bars.
Ramona and Roxy duel off. Great choreography in that
An
one.
amazing
especially.
fight. Ramona's got a giant hammer. Roxy has some razor whip chain belt that she just is destroying. It's very cool. I love that fight so
But
much.
Scott has to be the one to be able to defeat Roxy, so Ramona starts using him as like a puppet.
And because
'Cause he didn't
Scott
hit
is not a
women.
rock star, he will not hit Roxy, so
Yeah,
he
he
needs
will
help
not hit
from Ramona.
He's not vegan. He can't hit women.
And after this fight, Scott gets a little angry, and he's like, "Man, I just tired of fighting all your exes." And Ramona drops the bar of,
You're just another evil ex waiting to happen.
Which okay, that's like pretty manipulative. That was
It
a
is.
low blow.
She's not a
Bro,
great
Everyone,
person.
hey,
either.
everyone in this movie's bad.
Yeah, Ramona's not great either. you
"Hey,
know.
what did my boy Young Neil do?"
Hey, oh, I forgot about OG Young
Hey,
Neil, bro.
hey,
Except for Young Neil.
Neil's better live. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's better live. And but this lights the fuel for Scott to defeat the rest of her 7 evil exes, and they have an amp-to-amp battle versus the Katayamaga.
Kadianage twins, I believe.
Maybe the
Naga to-
most
I don't
boring
know.
scene in the movie.
They do not have any lines. They're just there.
They're there. They're the most glossed over
Yeah.
group of exes.
Not
And
That scene sucks.
And
Sorry.
first- yeah,
I'm not
it's
gonna
literally a
apologize.
Digimon battle.
It's not
I don't
great.
know. Like, if somehow they got big dragons coming out, then Sex
Yeah.
Bomb hits a button. They have a giant gorilla. They fight. They don't explain a second of it.
It also
fine.
just doesn't last long enough.
It's
just,
like 48 seconds,
Yeah,
maybe.
it's like
Yeah.
over.
Yes.
it's fine.
It doesn't hurt.
The important thing is that we're introduced to Gideon.
Jason
Played by
Schwartzman,
Jason
the
Schwartzman,
goat,
the goat.
greatest villain. Two great villains in the Spot in Spider-Verse. You know, just gotta plug that.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say Scott Pilgrim. I was like, no.
The Spot and Gideon Graves. Man, does it all.
Though we were talking about it, Gideon's I think Jason Schwartzman's Gideon is good.
He is good.
However, he could have been a little more over the top. I feel
Yeah.
like it's almost a little too reserved.
Yeah, because you get so crazy
Yeah.
with Todd the
I was
Vegan
gonna
and
say,
Lucas Lee.
It would have been
At
really cool if we saved either one of Todd or Lucas Lee for last, because that would have been
or
such a.
penultimate.
No, I mean like literally the last.
Okay. I mean,
Like,
Yeah.
you'd have to change
Yeah.
That like would screw with the comic and like the. It wouldn't happen, but basically, I feel like Gideon just wasn't as interesting.
he
as-
could have been done better for sure.
Yeah. But there was the bit about him being the what's it called
The Rick Rubin.
yeah kind of yeah, I guess
He's
so.
the producer of the Millennium.
Yeah.
looking for-
Indie producer.
I was looking for
Indie
A&R, like
producer
artist
of
of
the
repertoire. I mean, he like goes in
Oh,
science
yeah,
bands,
yeah.
but yeah, sure, we'll go with Rick Rubin.
Yeah, he's basically Rick Rubin.
Yeah,
he
he's
doesn't
the,
do
He's
anything.
the Rick Rubin. So G-Man is, Gideon is the G-Man that Steven Stills has been talking about that they're trying to get the record deal from. So not only does Gideon steal Ramona back from Scott, he signs Sex Bomb to a record deal, and then Young Neil gladly takes Scott's spot as the bass player, kicking Scott out.
He can't be in it with that douche in charge.
He can't.
Yeah.
He cannot. So
And then Steven proceeds to piss himself.
yeah, he does. And then afterwards, Scott moping around. Not only does he not have anyone anymore, Wallace lets him know that he's going to have to leave his apartment because he's going to need his bed tonight for sex, and he's also going to need it for
The rest of his life.
the rest of his life
and the rest of the rest of the year, and
for the rest of the year.
yeah.
So not only does this man have no more friends and nobody, but he's also being evicted. But Wallace overhears the phone call of Gideon explaining that he's the one that started the League of Seven Evil Exes.
And put Scott through the ringer. So Scott pulls up to the Chaos Theater, and the guards there ask him for the password, and he goes, and they're like, all right, cool, you're in. And that's it. One of my favorite scenes.
I wish it was that easy.
It was for him.
And Scott,
Man, okay, life is so easy for Scott Pilgrim. I think we should just get that. Like that man's a walking W.
Well, he got a W Riz.
Yeah.
he
6 foot
doesn't
one
Yeah, I
have
guess
to. He
we
doesn't
might
have to
as well
have a
talk
job.
about Scott's-
He leeches off of Wallace in his apartment and
and
just
still
gets
got ladies lining up.
I know. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, we're
He's got to teach a master class.
Scott's gonna do a skill share on. Yeah.
He's going to be up there with Tom Cruise and Magnolia.
Yeah. Oh wait, I don't get the joke.
Hopefully
I
we
haven't
do.
seen Magnolia.
Yeah, you gotta. Hopefully that's an episode down the pipeline.
But it'd be a long one, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be like 10 hours.
That's a long one.
It's a long one.
Do not invite me back for that.
And then-
You like Magnolia though?
I could not talk about it for that long.
Really?
Oh wow. Uh-oh.
Oh no. Wait, you like it though, right?
I do like it. It's just got so much going on.
We're gonna back it up and let him throw it down. So I'm just gonna sit back.
Yeah.
Heath and Jacob are just gonna talk
Oh
about
yeah.
This is now the Magnolia podcast.
Yeah,
so.
if you want to.
I want to hear the PTA hot takes. All right.
Not now. we gotta wrap this up.
No, that's a whole other.
Yeah. Okay.
Punch Drunk Love sucks.
Don't even know.
I've only seen Magnolia. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm about to lunge at you with this couch. Duke it out. But anyway,
yeah.
Scott goes to the Chaos Theater,
And at first, he wants to fight Gideon
but he learns
for Ramona.
Yeah.
He learns the power of love and the power of self-respect. He gets killed by Gideon, but then he learns
He has a
acquired.
Harry Potter moment.
Yeah,
where he talks to Dumbledore. And
He's
then
acquired
And he
other
says,
lives.
"I don't want to fight
Goes
her.
to the abyss.
Yeah.
I don't want to fight her for. I don't want to fight you for her. I want to fight her for me. No.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh yeah,
like
he
that.
goes to the Rango place.
Yeah.
I forgot. Yeah, the
He said
desert.
it looks like Rango.
It is Rango. Johnny Depp was there.
Ramona has a great line during that part where she's like Gideon never paid attention to me when we were together. I was more alone with him than I was single. And when I finally left, that's when he started paying attention, and we were all like, "Ooh."
real.
Deep.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro.
And so he's like, "I'm fighting you for me."
And then Scott proceeds to kill about 15 people in cold blood. You
And
know,
by
never
the way,
explained.
there's a fantastic aerial shot above Scott's head as the fight scene's happening.
kicking
It's
and-
one of the
Very-
coolest shots.
Very Kill Bill-esque.
Oh, it's
It
so
is
good.
kind of cool. That's
It
probably
is.
reference.
I
to
will
Kill
say
Bill,
that
honestly.
the
Probably is, yeah.
cinematography in the final fight is incredible, and the choreography too. I mean, both are firing on all cylinders.
A lot of sword fighting. It's very
Yeah,
cool.
a lot of sword
Yeah, it made me think of Kill Bill for sure.
And then at the end, Knives comes in. He drops the news on Ramona and Knives. They cheat on both of them.
A little bit of character growth.
A little bit of character growth.
not that
They
bad.
join forces and beat up Gideon. And then there's Evil Scott that he must fight. Now, for those that don't know, the comic had actually not finished whenever this movie was being made. So the part with Gideon at the end was completely original to the movie.
They had
So
very, very rough notes from
They had very
the
rough
artist,
notes as
or
to-
the author.
They had very rough notes on what was going to happen. So Evil Scott in the comic is actually kind of like the big thing that happens at the end. But in the movie, it's just sort of like a one-off gag where there's Evil Scott, but because it's Scott, they become friends. And they leave the Chaos Theater, and Ramona says, "I have to stop running away from my problems," and leave Scott. But then Knives is like, "That's the girl you love. Go after her." And then they hold hands into the sunrise.
Original alternate ending was shot with Knives. Scott and Knives end up together, which I do not like at all. And I'm really glad we didn't get that.
I agree.
Might be a hot take.
I
but
disagree.
He disagrees. She's 17.
Mason wanted Scott to date the 17-year-old.
Let's get that on the record.
Yeah.
We'll make this the snippet.
Thanks for that. Hey, why don't? Yeah. Hey. No. If you can do that, why don't you tell? Hey, why don't you
Those
tell?
are police sirens.
Why don't you tell the audience?
FBI, open up. They just come crashing through the window.
Why don't you tell the
Beacon
audience?
police are here to arrest
Hey.
Mason. for-
Evil Scott, tell the audience what his name is. Go ahead.
Say it.
Say Evil
Go
Scott's
ahead.
name.
Go ahead. That'll be the snippet. Got him.
Objection, Your Honor.
Let's
Leading the
go.
witness. Yeah.
Let's go, baby. We back. Go ahead, tell him.
Can't talk about Evil Scott in 2023.
You cannot.
I do want to talk about how
Bro, we just clipped out the wazoo.
the final boss would have been a
Got
little
crazy.
bit better if it had some Dane DeHaan in it. You know.
Dane DeHaan would have been great in Scott Pilgrim.
Dane DeHaan should have been Scott Pilgrim. What can I say?
He has,
No, I love
he
Michael
has
Cera.
the vibe
No.
of the movie.
He has.
He
a-
wouldn't
yeah,
have been
he
nearly as
definitely
good
has
as
an
Michael
Evil X
Cera,
vibe.
though.
He definitely has an Evil.
I feel like he would have been a great
He could have been.
X, though.
He would have been a
yeah.
fantastic.
That would've been
Super
amazing.
grungy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just replace the Kalinage twins with him. We don't need him.
Yeah.
Dane De, two
And he
two
could have had like
DeHaans.
a levitating. He could have thrown like the pumpkin bombs at him.
He looks like it's just him from Amazing Spider-Man 2.
literally
Nothing
just-
different.
Yeah, nothing different.
You're a fraud, Spider-Man.
No way
I
home
need
sent him there.
Spider-Man's blood.
I need Scott Pilgrim's blood.
I need Scott Pilgrim's pee.
I think we need to end it. It's only getting worse.
He wants Scott Pilgrim to pee on him.
Why does every episode have to be DeHaan, though?
And on that note,
We'll be back for the Dahanathon soon.
in conclusion, Scott Pilgrim's amazing. Dane DeHaan should have been Scott.
And every X.
And every X.
And Ramona.
Thank
Why-
you for
why not?
watching. Cue the outro music.
See you next time.
No way we cut that, bro.
Folks, back to one last time, I promise. This episode's been all over the place. We've recorded it twice. But you know what? We're here, and we did it. Yep.
Quick shout out to our new Instagram.
Yeah, oh yeah, we've got a new
Yeah.
Instagram.
Follow us.
Yeah, it's just the Fresh Faced Film Bro. Check us out. Drop us a follow, please. Also, if you could leave a like on whatever platform you're listening on, we would so appreciate that. Got to give some love to Heath for coming down. He's from
Scott Pilgrim's biggest fan.
Cookville.
Thank you.
Cookville, and it's
hour half drive.
yeah,
It was
not particularly close, but you know what? He made the drive.
I got to
He's
talk
here.
about Scott.
Yeah, we
That's all I
talked about
want.
him twice.
Twice. We did a lot.
Yeah, but I think we did a pretty thorough job. We're gonna have all of our socials plugged in the descriptions below. If y'all got anything else,
Follow me on Letterboxd, Heath420.
what does the 420 mean?
Don't ask.
I don't get it.
Thank you to our listener in Indonesia. Thank you to our listener in Australia. Thank
We
you
love
to
you.
South
Every
Korea.
listener
South
matters.
Korea.
South Korea.
Mm-hmm.
We don't
We're
care about the
international.
American listeners.
Do y'all hear that? Sounds like outro music.